And we believe in the upcoming years and after this IAC as well, we will have more bright ideas. When several students approach our stand at the exhibition, they share their emotions that, wow, there are a lot to do in space sector and we will definitely consider it.
Hello everyone and welcome to this new episode of the SPACEAVOCAT podcast recorded here in Baku in Azerbaijan, this beautiful sunny city. Thank you so much Natavans for having us today for this show.
Thank you Nima, it's my pleasure to meet you here in Baku as a host country of the International Astronautical Congress Baku chapter.
Absolutely, but as you mentioned, today is the very last day of this amazing event, amazing success. Beautiful venue that we had in the heart of this amazing city. And, for the public, we met at the International Space University.
Exactly.
So, it's a big family of alumni. And there is a tradition in this show, which is to know the background. So, Natavan, you will not be an exception. So today, what is your background? All
right. So I started at AZERCOSMOS as a business analyst in 2018. And back then, AZERCOSMOS was like satellite operator. So my background is bachelor degree in world economics and master degree in MBA. And but also I try to take some special courses about strategy execution, and one that we joined together early this year. And when I started at AZERCOSMOS, there was a new established department called Marketing and Business Development. So it was our duty to explore new initiatives and to start new business lines. And then when we have been granted space agency functions in 2021, there was some organizational changes. And due to that changes, I started at the Strategy and Business Development Department in order to transform AZERCOSMOS to the space agency.
Wow. That's a lot of work that you did in just a few years.
Yeah, it's just about 5 years. It has been very successful career path for me, I would say. And I enjoy space industry a lot. It's very nice to be here because it's fast-paced industry. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with all those developments there, but still I enjoy every moment being in this industry.
Okay. So as I was mentioning earlier, today is the last day of AAC.
Yeah.
It's a big show. It's a big turning point even, I guess, for Azerbaijan and for the space industry in general to discovering this emerging nation in space. What is the main takeaways that you can have for such a big event in your city?
Yes, actually it has a very nice background of International Astronautical Congress. In this region, the first IAC was hosted again in Baku, but in the Soviet period of time. It was like 50 years ago. And when we started bidding process in 2019, we went to Washington, D.C. for IAC. And there it was announced that Azerbaijan, Baku, will be hosted it again. But due to pandemic, there was some delays and they postponed several editions of the IAC. That's why it was supposed to be last year, actually, but due to pandemic, now we are hosting here, and we have a very nice message after 50 years again in Baku, Azerbaijan. About the venue, yes, you are right. What I hear the feedbacks from participants, they said that they are impressed by the venue because we have Haydar Aliyev Center, which was designed by the prominent architect Zaha Hadid, and we have here a Baku Congress Center, which looks like spaceship. And in the middle of this, we have temporary built exhibition area. So if I give some figures about this IAC, I would say it will be known with some record-breaking numbers because in terms of countries, it's a bit diverse IAC. We have EVA observed because currently there are more than 5,500 participants coming from 137 countries. So you can imagine that it's more than 70% of the world's countries, I would say. And here in Azerbaijan, also at this chapter at IAC, we have a lot of exhibitors. So if I put in figures as well, it's around 150 exhibitors coming from 30 countries. Yes. And we organized, of course, with the International Astronautical Federation, around 200 technical sessions and more than 4,000 presentations were presented by youngsters, space enthusiasts, researchers, and professionals. So I would say, yes, it's a little bit sad because today is the last day, but indeed we enjoyed it a lot, and the culture, the tradition we have there, and the hospitality of local people. This is what we have received as feedback from all participants. I believe you also enjoyed the Congress, and we believe that after this IAC we will have more activities, more events to organize in this city.
Yes, because it's funny that you mentioned that the building is quite impressive, because it really looks like a spaceship.
Yes.
And to tell everything to the audience, for those who are going to watch this episode, we tried several locations around the venue, because there is such a beautiful view of Baku. But then at the end of the day, we choose this one for technical reasons, but that's really an amazing place. And thank you again for organizing it. And talking about the AAC, so yeah, it's very diverse.
Yes.
And I also noticed that it's very young.
Yes,
There's a lot
exactly.
of students. So is there a message from AZERCOSMOS on this?
Yes, actually, because the topic of this year IAC is global challenges, opportunities, give space a chance. It's the industry that people, especially youngsters, they said is not accessible for them. However, it's not the case. We know that now more and more youngsters get interested in space industry. It becomes more accessible for everybody. And the funny thing is that it's not only about becoming astronaut or the scientist, rocket scientist. You can still be lawyer in space sector, yeah, as you. Then also you can still be maybe IT specialist doing a cybersecurity stuff in space. So there are a lot to find that meet your, let's say, background or your interest. That's why I would say, yes, you're right. It was quite youth-oriented IAC, and even from Azerbaijan, I would say, it was one of the top countries that submitted papers, and it was around more than 200 papers. And they are here to present it and to make new connection with other students, with other young professionals. So I think this sector, as it becomes more accessible, we will see more IAC with youth-oriented program and the content.
As you were mentioning, 50 years ago, there was already AAC in Baku.
Yes.
Yes, not the same venue, but it was already here. So there is a legacy in the space industry for Azerbaijan. Can you tell us a little bit more of this? Because I'm not sure that everybody is really aware of this vivid scene in this country.
It's absolutely good question. Actually, even the space industry is just emerging in Azerbaijan, but the roots of space activities in Azerbaijan go back as far as to 13th century even. It's in 1259, Azerbaijani astronomer, scientist, and thinker Nasrattin Tusi, for the first time, he established observatory in Maghara. It was the region where he established. And of course, there was some break and some developments. We don't have a proper track of these developments. But after 700 years, in 1959, we had another observatory, and now named after Nasrattin Tusi, the astronomer. It's just located 2 hours drive away from Baku city, in another part of the region. So then we had, in actual Soviet period of time, there was a lot of space activities going on in Baku, Azerbaijan as well. And the 1973 was the year when Baku, and the one in the Soviet period of time, we organized International Astronautical Congress. And after this, there was a new factories established, and there was a new National Astronautics Agency established. And also there are several prominent people that they were leading space program of the Soviet time. It was Kerim Kerimov. He worked around 25 years in this sector, and he was the mastermind behind this Soviet space program. And also we had the first Azerbaijani astronaut, Musa Manarov. He went to space as well during that period of time. But after collapse of the Soviet, there was like economic recession and a tough time for all these countries. And when we declared our independence, there was also some, a brain drain that we have been going through. But fortunately, after several years, it was again our leaders' decision to establish space industry and to have national satellite operator. And this is how we started. So in 2010, AZERCOSMOS as a satellite operator was established, and then we started program of ordering and building, launching the first satellite. It was telecommunication satellite. So here, of course, we work with international players. For instance, our satellites were launched with Arianespace from French Guiana, Crew Cosmodrome. And then, of course, we worked with Airbus for Earth observation satellite. We had from the Spot 6-7 constellation. Spot 7 was named as Azersky. We purchased it from Airbus and started Earth observation activities in Azerbaijan.
So Azerbaijan, as I understand, has a long legacy in space curiosity first, in the ancient time, and then space program and more industrial approach nowadays and in recent times. AZERCOSMOS has a very special place in the ecosystem. It's quite the center of it. Could you talk us more about this? Because I understand this is an operator, but a little bit more than an operator.
Yes,
right?
yes, exactly. It's a bit unique in the space industry to have this kind of approach. Because I would compare it with France in order to understand. So you have satellite operator Eutelsat and the space agency CNES. But here it's like two in one. Of course, it's not that much big like as in Eutelsat, as in CNES, but it's like to give some understanding what kind of functions we have at AZERCOSMOS. As I said, we started as a satellite operator in 2010. And gradually, we actually did some agency functions, but it was like, I would say de facto. But from 2021, we have been granted agency function, and we started doing it as a de jure. And so in Azerbaijan, when we became space agents as well, now we have two hats, I would say. One is satellite operated, where we are doing a lot of commercial activities, providing data, video services, and also teleport services. We have very good facility, which is just 38 kilometers away from the Baku. It's like a remote place, highly secured and very without any interference, I would say. And on the other hand, we have head of agency. And in this regard, we are a little bit younger because we started since 2021. And that's why we are trying to keep a balance being agency and the satellite operator. We would like, as an agency, to strengthen space ecosystem in Azerbaijan, to help youngsters to get interested in this sector, whether it can be academic career or a professional career. So if I share some figures about our activities, so when we started our commercial activities in 2013, there was a couple of countries that we were collaborating with, but now we are cooperating with more than 200 companies from 43 countries. It's quite international-oriented organization, and 90% of our revenue is being generated outside of Azerbaijan, which is also very good for us. And if you talk about coverage area of telecommunication satellites, it includes Africa, Middle East, Asia, Europe, and Central Asia, Europe, and we provide all those data video services in this region. So also we are collaborating with international satellite operators partners to host their antenna systems at our premises, and it is one of the Tier 4 certified teleport by World Teleport Association, and even we are considering currently to host their EGNOS RIM station, which will be the most eastern point for the RIM station globally. Because as of time there is a RIM station in Turkey, which is the eastern point, but when it will be established in Azerbaijan, it's going to be the most eastern point. So, and also geographically speaking, since it is a crossroads of the east and west, and even the ancient Silk Road passed through the Azerbaijan, so it's a quite good place from logistics points of view and from other points of view. Everything was passing through this region, through our country, and now we are giving some message that why not space? So for the space activities, if Western players want to expand their activities to the east, if the Eastern players want to expand their activities to the west, they can consider this place and can collaborate with us. And also, as a space agency, we are doing a lot of outreach programs, so several competitions, challenges, etc. For instance, it's also a good point I want to share. There's a Acton Space Hackathon that's being held every year in France, and Azerbaijani team won this challenge this year.
Congratulations.
And, yeah, thank you very much. And we were mentoring them as an agency, and also we did several challenges here in Azerbaijan as well. So also we are doing CANSAT competition, which is very important tool for us in order to have more talents in the sector. And all those successful participants, now they work at the research and development department at AZERCOSMOS. So overall, this is what type of activities we do. But when it comes to Earth observation, I would like to share some information as well. So when we started Earth observation services in 2014, we started to collaborate with Ministry of Agriculture, Natural Resources, and in the last 2 years, we are providing to the government climate report, because this region is also in the, let's say, high-risk zone because of this climate change negative effects. And this climate report covers like droughts, salination, water resources type of information. So we have now a GIS center at AZERCOSMOS, and we would like to diversify our portfolio with different products, AI, ML applied solutions in order to solve these problems and to have more data-driven decision-making and policy-making in Azerbaijan.
It's quite interesting to notice how broad the mandate of AZERCOSMOS is, because you are basically raising awareness for the general public about space, but you're also an operator with big capacity in telecommunication, etc. And you are also, if I understand well, in charge of fostering investment for space in Azerbaijan. But do you have, because you know, in France and in Europe and especially, we have a deep focus on new space.
Yes, exactly.
Everybody talk about new space, a lot of startups coming up.
Yes.
What's up in Azerbaijan regarding new space? Is there something in program? How do you cope with this emerging wave?
Yes. Well, it's being called like second space race, because when non-space actors entered this industry and they started to commercialize the sector, we saw that more new space startups emerge in the industry. And when I read the news about the amount of money that was invested in the sector, I was a little bit surprised, because we are talking about 15 billion USD that was invested in new space sector. Here in Azerbaijan, we will be focusing more on the downstream market, not the upstream market, because now satellite data is very critical, and we can use satellite data to build new applications. We do understand that satellite manufacturing or building satellites, it requires a lot of legacy and talent. But when it comes to data science and providing some space application, it's somehow that all IT, with IT background, all the engineers can do somehow. That's why we'll be focusing more on the downstream market. And in that sense, we will do several acceleration programs. Actually, we did once in 2019. It was called New Space Business Acceleration Program. But unfortunately, we didn't receive very solid ideas from this competition. Because we've seen that the industry or the community was not ready enough, but we spent last 4 years now empowering the society, Azerbaijani youth, through outreach programs, activities, and we believe in the upcoming years and after this IAC as well, we will have more bright ideas. Because when several students approach our stand at the exhibition, they share their emotions that, wow, there are a lot to do in space sector and we will definitely consider it. And we think organizing IAC in Baku will give a lot of opportunities for us, as the topic was the global challenges and opportunities. And we believe that in the upcoming years, we will have more space startups, local space startups as well.
Going back to finish this episode on a more broader scale of the space ecosystem, the very subject of this AAC 2023 was like giving space a chance.
Yes.
Given all the context that we have, the change in some economical context, especially in the West, how do you see the evolution of the space ecosystem in the near future, in a broader scale, and maybe also for your country?
Yes. Well, it's also a very good question. So here I would like again to share some statistics and from some consultancy report. As of time, the value of the space industry is around 380 billion USD, and it's prognosticated that it will reach 1 trillion USD by 2040, which is around triple of what we have now. And it means that there are a lot of investment is being attracted in this sector, and it means a lot of satellite services and space programs. And also, I was really surprised to know that even government started to spend a lot in space sector. And also, I recently read the news that in the last 7-8 years, the amount of investment in this sector by the government, it increased as well from 42 billion USD to 92 billion USD. So I think it's a tendency is all over the world, and it's also same in Azerbaijan. For our country, last year we started to draft national space strategy that covers a period till 2030. And we didn't choose the 2030 just for a coincidence, no, because there is a UN SDGs, that the global framework that everybody wants to achieve through space applications and satellite technologies. And also our agenda in Azerbaijan, there is a national priorities 2030. And we aligned our strategy with global framework and the national framework, and we built this strategy. There are 5 directions that we want to pursue in years to come. One is to ensure the sustainability of services that we are providing, because before 2013 we didn't have space economy in Azerbaijan, but thanks to those telecommunication Earth observation services, now we have space economy. And if I share again the figure with you, since 2013 we have generated around 300 million USD. Okay, it's not a very big number, but still for us,
That's a big start.
Yes, for Azerbaijan is quite a good number. And after these years, we will be focusing to increase the budget as well. For instance, on Monday we signed a contract with Israeli aerospace industry.
Yeah, that was quite of the big moment of the kicking off of the AAC.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Could you tell us a bit about this new deal?
Yes, sure. So early this year, unfortunately, our Earth observation satellite collided with space debris, which is a global problem nowadays. But we were a little bit in a lucky position because it was just 1 year before its end of mission. And last 2 years, we already started some RFI processes in order to build our next Earth observation satellite. And we have finalized the contract and signed it here at IAC. So it will be a constellation of 2 satellites and very high resolution submitter. And with this high resolution satellite, we are aiming to provide again services to meet needs of the government, agriculture, climate change, natural resources, water resource management, and etc. And this time, but we did a little bit exception because technology transfer will be part of this contract as well. We want to build the second satellite in Baku at AIT Center, and for this purpose, there will be built the facility assembly integration testing center in Baku, and we will hire youngsters, engineers to work here, and we believe it will give us a lot of commercial opportunities in the future as well, because in this region we want to position ourselves as the small satellite building country in the years to come, and we believe that we can meet also needs of neighboring regions, neighboring countries, emerging space agencies goals by doing small satellite missions. So we believe that international collaboration is important tool, and also the knowledge transfer, technology transfer is very important in order to have more legacy in space sector in Azerbaijan. Yes, when it comes to our space strategy, as I said, to ensure sustainability of satellite services in Azerbaijan, the second was to form a local potential of production, which is close to what I said about building satellite here, small satellites. Another direction is to meet needs of the government through space applications and satellites services. And the fourth direction is about research and development, and also building capacity. And the last direction will be more about innovation, startups, environment in Azerbaijan, which we a little bit lack currently, but we believe that there will be more in the coming years. And for this one, we are collaborating with startups from Europe, from Western countries as well, to do some sessions with the local startuppers, to exchange their to share their experience, what kind of challenges they faced. And I believe that in the upcoming years we will have more youth ready to risk their capital in space sector.
It's quite interesting to notice it's a big agenda.
Yes.
But all the building blocks of a space ecosystem are here. So all the best for your country to accomplish this amazing challenge that you have. It's funny because AAC is also about diversity, and we met incredible diversity of people and industry in there. And I want to thank you again so much for having this episode today here.
Thank you. It was my pleasure to be your guest. Thank you very much for this invitation.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. Next year, AAC will be in Milano.
Milano, yes. So we will be there.
And of course, we will be there, and we're going to have this debrief. In the meantime, thank you again so much.
Thank you, Numa. It was my pleasure. Thank you very much.
And see you soon.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.